What in God's name is going on in here?
52.
All right, Johnny, we doing this, man, Johnny?
Yeah,
we're doing this,
it.
man.
We're doing it.
Episode 23, man.
23. That's a good number. You know what? That's a good football number.
It's a good football number. I know we're talking football, but I was thinking about 23, the GOAT, Jordan. I was thinking about 23, the GOAT, and the reason why why I say Jordan is the GOAT,
Fair
and not LeBron, and Kobe was a close second, but not LeBron, because Jordan, when he was going bald, he knew to say, all right, I'm going bald, I'm taking it off, man. LeBron is fighting it, dude, putting on a fake wig and shit. Like, we are big on rugs, man.
Yeah,
we're big on rugs.
spot a rug.
That's why I got my hat on.
Yeah, let me too. That's like you always keep a hat on. But LeBron, dude, if he would give in to the baldness, I would respect him, but he won't. So he's not the GOAT, man. Jordan's the GOAT. But anyway, I digress, man. Episode 23, man. We're doing this, man. Talking football, man.
Yeah,
high school football.
You know what? It's the time of year. It's the fall.
Yeah.
High school football's kicking
Yes.
off. There's nothing bigger in Texas, man. High school football.
That's it, man.
Football is king.
That's it, dude.
Especially in some towns.
Yeah.
It got me thinking that we wanted to do a football episode and talk about some of these things and our memories, things that have changed in the game, and it brought to mind a special guest that we brought on the show today, Bill Rogers. Bill's here.
Thank you, sir.
Bill is, and we'll talk more about Bill's experience, but Bill wasn't a pro football player, but he was pretty dang close because he played for Odessa Permian in the
nice,
Mojo
dude.
days. So that's kind of cool.
That's big, dude. That's when you told me when you text me, you're like, when you text me, man.
That's one step under superstar.
Yeah, dude. When you text me, that I was like, dude, that's cool shit, man. That's cool shit.
My wife would say a superstar in his own mind.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever it takes, man. Whatever
Good
it takes, I'll buy it, dude. I'm in. But no, football, high school football was huge. Like you said, it's huge in Texas. We were talking about how it takes over a small town, like a small town. They shut small town shuts down. That's the focal point. Friday night, hey, we're closing early. It's time to go to the stadium or what have you. And I was mesmerized by when I saw that movie, Friday Night Lights. I was just blown away. I was like, man, because it took you back. That again, how we do nostalgia here. We're pop culture. So when I watched that movie, it tapped into me. I was like, shit, man, that reminds me of my high school. Being excited on a Friday night to go out and getting suited up, man, lacing up your shoes and shit, man. There was nothing that can,
and that's
magic.
kind of what we talked about before we started recording here, just kicking around some ideas. There's a lot of things that, your high school sports, whether it be volleyball, baseball, softball, basketball, when you get out of high school, you can go find a basketball league to play in. You can play pickup games. You can get involved in softball, even fast pitch leagues. So you can have that fun, find these intramural leagues and continue to play a game. But for most people that never move on past that high school year, when you take those shoulder pads off, you'll never put them on again.
That's a wrap.
Never
man.
put them on again.
Oh,
That's why that short number of games that you're involved in or play, and you never know when your last one's going to be. An injury or whatever. So it's special time.
Well, you say injury because that's, there could be 100 topics in here, but my senior year, William Bruton, I was the second string defensive end, and Williams' shoulder pads came untied. Went in for one play, caught my knee and snap. So you talk about could it end?
Yeah,
and it almost did.
And it reminds me when you said that. That reminded me of like the shoes. You had the shoelace string here. Now it's like belt. It's like right now it's like a belt now, like with this tighten. And that's the good shit, man. Like the shoelace tighten.
Shoelaces.
You know what it is, man. My I guess it's not a fond memory. It's just a memory that's there. It's like how when you open you smell a Coke or you smell something. And there's a certain smell. Well, them fucking shoulder pads and that goddamn helmet, they had a goddamn smell to it. They reminded you like. That's football. That's football, man. And pads where they smell. And not that it
stunk. Walk in the
it's
locker room and smell.
Yeah, it's just not this. That wasn't a stink like it was. Oh, that's gross. Yeah, of course it was gross. But I'm saying, but that smell was. Man, we're gonna go.
Hey, I tell you,
we're
there
going
was
to war.
a smell because in football practice we sacked our stuff up at the end of the in that little net bag and put our stuff and you take it home and you get it washed. And there was always those cats that never washed their stuff, man. They never washed it.
The grossest guys ever.
Never.
I don't know how they put that stuff on every day, but they did.
Hey, Yeah,
like-
Well, no, when you said
You
that
had to go
never
hit
took
those
it
guys.
home,
Yeah.
is at the end of every practice, we put it in the bin, and it was there in the locker.
Yeah.
I mean, Doc Allen.
well, he
the
was
trainer.
pro.
He was high
Yeah,
dollar.
he was
He
pro.
was high dollar.
Mojo.
The guy that was our trainer / manager, he was, he made that system go.
Yeah.
The period that I was there, because
Yeah.
we'd show up for game time or on game day.
Yeah.
And you'd walk in and your lockers set up.
All right, so
Shit,
all
yeah,
right,
that-
so he's giving us a little bit of a glimpse. So
On the inside.
let's talk about
Got ahead of you there. Sorry.
Yeah,
let's,
that's okay.
talk about Mojo football.
Mhm.
You know, what year were you there?
Yeah.
We've all seen the movie.
Yeah.
Probably a few of us out there have read the book. I'm more of a movie guy. than
I'm
a
visual.
book guy.
I'm a visual. I'm a visual learner.
Visual guy.
I'm a visual guy.
So
I'll go with that excuse.
So,
too.
and I think it's
I
really
don't
cool
read.
that you played football for Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
So
he went.
that's pretty
Angelina
cool.
Jolie was on the cheerleader team and shit.
Yeah.
Angelina
Billy
Jolie,
Bob.
she was there.
Yeah. So tell us some real
that's
stories
cool.
of
That's cool, man.
what
well,
it, what
and
it
I
was
guess
back
we ought
then.
to start.
It's kind of a you were mentioning
what we were talking
yeah, go ahead,
about
go ahead.
is the coach.
Yeah.
My head coach was John Wilkins, and Coach Gary Gaines was an assistant coach. And then a few years later, Coach Gaines was the head coach,
Right on.
and he was one in the book.
Sure.
He passed away this past Monday.
So it's kind of a perfect timing,
Yeah.
man,
Yep.
for this.
Yeah.
This episode was
And-
perfect timing, man.
Just when that happened, it brought back. Johnny had already asked me about this, and I
Yeah.
thought, man, the timing of that.
Yeah.
Because thinking about some of the things that he did, and in the book, he's not as portrayed as, and in the movie, that persona. Coach Gaines was one of the good guys.
Okay.
Of all the coaches you could have, he was one of the good guys. And I don't know that was the exact portrayal in the
Sure.
book, but redundant. He was,
Seemed
he
good
was
in the
one of the
movie.
good guys.
Seemed good in the movie.
No, and just to bring it up, because this is our thing here at the 52. Our thing is rugs, and I saw Billy Bob had a rug in that one. That was not him. That
He
was
did
not his
have a
hair.
rug.
He
He had a rug. That wasn't him. But no, not to take away and be silly, but that movie, man, that movie was moving. It was hard to see. And I know that they, like I said, I know they sensationalize these movies, and they have to make them interesting. And I was telling you guys beforehand how could that Boogie Miles? Boogie Miles?
Boogie Miles.
Boogie Miles. Like they say, they showed in the movie.
Boogie Miles.
Movie. Yeah.
Boogie. How they show it's the first game of the season. He and they run him too long, and he messes his knee up. Well, when I was reading and fact checking, and not fact checking, but just reading over, it was like he hurt himself in a scrimmage game, and that was like it's so cool how they make it exciting.
They make the movie. They have to make the movie exciting. I don't hold that against them.
No. I'm just saying
you
it's
know.
just weird
Yeah.
to see. And then the other thing was them losing in that 88. They lost to Dallas. They made it in the finals, but it was the semifinals. But that's neither here nor there. I'm just saying, it's just Hollywood's got to be Hollywood. They got to do their thing. They got to make it fun. And I get it, but I always wanted to experience that winning. I guess I always wanted to experience winning. I never got to experience winning. I was always on a shit team where I was the biggest guy, and the quarterback was 5 foot nothing, and it was a shit team.
He was accurate to 10 yards.
Yeah. We had
Yeah.
a shit. But the thing is, and another thing to bring up, the school I went to, the high school I went to, we played we called it because we were too stupid and too shitty to throw the ball. So we called ourselves Smash Mouth Football. So we always ran the ball. So we were always a running team, and it was because we had good running backs. Just we were too stupid to throw the ball. Our quarterbacks were too small, or they weren't good enough to do it. So, but I was always envious of to see these teams, the winning, championships. It's like, man, I always wanted. I never got to experience to win. I never won
Bill,
anything.
You were out there in the early '80s. How long was their dynasty, and what was the deal there? Were you? How good was the team when you were on it, and when did they?
Well, if you want to say dynasty, I was there 80, 81, and 82 were the seasons I played.
That's awesome.
When we started, and I was a sophomore in 1980, we were the winningest team of the 1970s.
Shit.
If you
Awesome.
roll that clock forward, they were the winningest teams of the 1980s. And they started off the 90s with a couple of bangs,
Shit.
and then that's when it started to plateau.
Yeah, it's
So
kind of
in-
over out there right now.
Yeah, they changed some things.
Okay.
There's some self-inflicted stuff and more things to do. Crash in the oil field probably didn't help, but being there in 80, that was we didn't. You never didn't think that's what I'm going to do.
Right.
I
No.
knew.
You were a
Yeah.
football player.
That was it. That
Yeah,
was
I
it,
played
huh?
baseball, and
Yeah.
played
And
at basketball, but I was a football player.
and what was your spot? What was your position?
My senior year, I was a fullback
Okay.
and defensive end.
Hey, and that's back. That's another thing I was gonna bring up. I was like, you had to go both ways, you know. And I'm not talking about sexual. I'm talking about you had to go both defense and offense and defense. You had to go
Well,
both ways.
we had one my year. We
Yeah.
had two guys that went
Yeah.
both ways.
Yeah.
Guy named Brett Hager, you
Yeah.
may have known. He was a great linebacker at University of Texas.
Jesus.
And
UT,
another guy.
man. UT was my thing, man. I loved UT football, man. What was your college? What was your favorite college team growing up? As a kid.
I liked UT. I mean,
Yeah.
I still like UT.
Yeah.
I liked the old Southwest Conference.
Yeah, me too, man. I
I
don't
think
like
they've
this new
all
shit.
screwed themselves.
Yeah, I don't like this new. And I hated that they lost the rivalry with A&M, man. That was the big deal, man. A&M, Texas. That was that was life. That was everything.
There's no way. That's just silly. I mean, however the hell they did that, it just ended up
Yeah,
silly.
I didn't like it, man. I was but growing up as a kid in Austin, man, UT was a thing. Watching Ricky Williams play. Of course, Vince Young, all those guys. Watching those guys play was amazing, man. To see these guys, they were amazing. It was just the
He's
stars.
young.
Yeah.
He's young.
Yeah. Well, Earl Campbell, Tyler Rose.
I'm feeling old all of a
Oh,
sudden.
Tyler Rose,
Hey,
man.
but you're a hero, man.
Yeah.
We found out that Bill, a trivia question here, that you scored the first touchdown in Ratliff Stadium out there, the Mojo Stadium. That's
man.
It was a trivia
they
question.
name like a parking like a curb after you or
You got
something.
something?
No, because that's the odd thing about it is nobody out there really keeps that. I mean,
Yeah.
there's records and stuff, but
Sure.
and if you dug, you probably find somebody that would contest that. So
I'm
No,
sure.
my
That would
my
mean-
dad did.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, now it's like my grandpa did.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, Bill.
But
So-
no, that's amazing though, man. To be a part of that whole school.
But
that
yeah, Bill.
history.
I mean, back then, you've told me some stories before, and we've seen the movie. It was the real deal that these people bought season tickets to high school football games back then, didn't they?
not only
That's
did
crazy.
they buy them,
That's
they
crazy.
held on to them, and there was a waiting list, and people would pass them in their wills.
It's like the Green Bay Packers
I
over there,
know.
man. Shit, man. That's how. That's crazy, man.
I didn't know any better.
Because that's all you knew.
That's
as a
all-
high school
that's
football
all. I
player,
mean,
right?
I go now, and it's one of the disappointments of adulthood, I guess. And I didn't go to high school games until recently because my youngest daughter's a cheerleader. My others really didn't go.
Yeah. Did you have any boys?
Nope,
No boys, huh?
no
Okay,
boys.
Okay.
And to go, and my wife hates going to the game with me because I'm full of stories of this is how it should be.
Oh yeah, I agree.
And-
Back in my day.
Back in my day.
back in
Hey,
the
that's way
day.
it is, man. That's the way it is, man.
And before he get and I don't want to call him
Trent.
the band guy because
Trent.
y'all called him the band guy. Trent.
Trent, yeah.
Because I'll tell you
Band director, yeah.
my soapbox about the game
Okay.
is it goes back to I don't know if it's where woke start, but where everybody gets to play or everybody gets to participate,
Yeah.
or if you're in soccer, you don't keep score.
Oh bullshit.
Bullshit.
I wanna know the score.
We kept score.
I want to know the damn score.
Yeah, you keep score
I
and,
wonder if I
and
won or
put a
lost.
bruise on somebody
Yeah.
every
But
chance
now
you get.
they all compete for the halftime show. The
Oh,
band,
shit.
it's because my wife, it makes her mad when I say we're there to watch a football game.
Oh,
And
shit, yeah,
she
man.
cheers for the cheerleaders, and I'm like, what are you doing?
I think we lost the focus here. I think we lost.
And
focus
she's
over,
and
football.
I understand. I mean,
Yeah,
I understand
yeah,
it.
I
And
get it.
Maddie's great.
Yeah. Because your daughter is a competitive cheerleader.
Yes.
She
That's
does
cool.
a competition.
But we're here to watch a football game.
And I respect the cheerleader thing because I watched I can't remember the cheerleading thing it is. It's out of Corsicana. They got like
Yeah,
the best
yeah.
cheerleading thing.
Navarro
Yeah,
College.
Navarro
yes.
Junior
And I
College.
respect that, man. I what it's to each their own. I get it, man. I they're athletes too.
But I know what Bill's saying.
Yeah.
On this night,
On this night, it's
It's
my
a
night.
football
Yeah,
game.
it's
Yeah.
my
We're here
night.
to see the
Friday.
football game.
It's Friday night, man. It's Friday. It's my night. Yeah.
And when it spills over,
yeah.
we have these things called stand leaders, and they irritate me to no end because halftime's over. Here comes the drummers from the band,
Yeah.
and these guys go down there and they start beating on their drums, and the kids start yelling, and you can't hear the PA.
You want to? Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. In my
Get the
day,
game.
Coach Wilkins there'd have been a timeout, and it would be turn that shit
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
hey, let me ask you this though. Back in your day,
Back in the day,
our
it's the
day.
is
same.
that coach gonna let his running back play in the band and miss the halftime speech by marching in the band on halftime?
I never saw it.
Yeah,
We had a couple,
But no.
yeah.
I mean, you see that
We
happen.
had a couple of those. We had
You
a couple
see that
of those. We
happen
had
a
that- we
lot.
had a
You see
couple
that
of
happen
those,
a lot. But I would be willing to bet that back in the Mojo day that Coach did.
Pick one. Yeah.
We couldn't play
pick one.
basketball.
Pick
If
one.
you were good enough to, we had a guy when I was a sophomore named Mike Williams, who was the only guy on that 1980 state championship that got a major college scholarship.
Oh, shit.
When he finished football, he went and played basketball. He was a good enough athlete.
Shit. That's awesome.
I wouldn't, but we were never allowed. We could play football, or we could run track. But you couldn't do. And if you ran track, you got to go to track after off season.
Shit.
And if you had anything left after off season to go run track, you hadn't done off season.
Yeah.
And
Jesus.
So
Yeah.
So you said 80 was a state championship year.
Mhm.
So you were a sophomore then. So you got to ride that
Experience it,
train,
yeah.
right, and go all the way.
yeah, I got to be a blocking dummy.
Oh,
Well,
good. Oh, that's okay.
Hey,
Hey.
It was that 1980 team. Think none of them are sitting in the room, or they might hit me. But if you go back and look at some of the games against Port Arthur, Jefferson, Highland Park, I mean, when we played Highland Park, our offensive line averaged 165 pounds. Their defensive line averaged 280.
Jesus.
When we were on defense, it was flipped. And we're eating breakfast the day before the game. Kirk Slaughter, who's the two technique, which not a nose guard, but right there. And he was 155 pounds dripping wet. And they were making these comments about how they were going to bull. He didn't understand that he was 155 pounds,
Right.
and he was about to be playing against a guy 280.
Yeah.
Never crossed his mind.
Yeah.
He beat the shit out of that kid.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
He was past him and
Oh, yeah,
threw his
speed.
legs back and
Speed kills, man.
but collectively, I mean, those guys, there were none of them that you would look at and say, there's a star athlete.
Yeah.
right.
And if there's something unique about that time of playing football in the 70s and 80s, is you all went through the same thing. You all went through rotation and Matt's last in the off season and playing, and you earned it.
Sure.
And those guys had no quit.
Yeah.
I mean, and
They were
Highland-
like that Olympic hockey team, right? It
Oh,
just
yeah.
beat
yeah,
the, beat the
it
world
kind of
out
like
there.
that.
Oh, yeah.
It was,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
played so far over their heads, but if you tell them that, they didn't know. They were playing as hard as they could every play, and when the game was over, they looked up on the scoreboard and look at that, we won.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the coolest deals because we've all seen those teams, and you see it more so in 2A ball and in smaller schools, to where the team is carried by an outstanding running back.
Yeah.
Right.
Or
You know,
or,
but then it's neat to see a team where who's the star? Well, there is no.
no, there ain't one.
There's not a star. There's just the whole team's good. They just play good. That's
It's like to steal the deal from you'll know the movie when I say it, but it's like Novocaine. It don't look pretty, but it's damned effective.
Hey, so you said movie. What's your favorite football
Yeah.
movie of all time?
Because we have a big debate. And this
Yeah.
on the 52, there's a big debate, and I don't give a shit. And I always tell Trent to go to hell. And I'll tell Trent to go to hell when he gets here. But I get it. I get the whole thing about Rudy. But for me, the thing about Rudy, the movie Rudy, for me was
Rudy's about a guy.
yeah. But the thing is, he didn't have no quit though. I mean, he could have quit. He could have. He was nobody. And I'm not saying I know the elbow.
Was he ever going to be a pro?
No.
Was he even good enough to be
No.
there?
No.
No, but he just
He
didn't
give
quit.
a shit. He didn't.
He didn't quit.
He was. It's like he said. If I can do anything, I can help. As a practice team guy, I can help you get better. I can help the star get better. At being a good dummy, being a badass dummy. Tackling dummy or whatever. And that's what I was trying to tell Trent. It's just like it's the thing to you're not gonna be an NFL star. But give it everything, man. Give it everything you got, and that's what I was trying to tell Trent. But Trent's like, they gave this guy nobody.
He's a
movie.
nobody.
I get it, and I heard Joe Montana bitch about him too, and it's whatever, man. But it's just the want to, and that's something you can't teach kids nowadays. They don't have that. They don't
Heart.
have the want to, the heart.
heart.
Yeah, they don't have that no more, man.
Well, and I keep saying our system, the guys that were on the scout team, there's the starters, and then there's those guys
Yeah.
that maybe could start, do start, and they add to it. And then there's the guys that don't. And at Permian, we would have 10 Rudies.
Yeah.
And they were just as proud
Yeah.
to go out there and beat the hell out of you during
Yeah.
practice. Because I assure you, There's a guy named Mitch Madison who got lazy a couple times in my life, and he paid for it because he'd make me look stupid, and I'd get my ass chewed when I'd go back to the huddle. And we'd come up, what play you think we're going to run next?
Yeah. Why is this guy, that coach grab you and say, why is this guy beating
it's
you,
keep
right?
you it's to keep you honest,
and
man.
Poor old Mitch,
keep you going, man.
He was, and he just got he stood in there every time.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's the point.
He came up and did it. So
those guys make you better, man. Those guys make you accountable, and that's the thing. And that's what I was trying to tell Trent, that that's what Rudy was. He made these guys accountable.
It's funny. It's funny you say that. It just brought back a memory. I remember, as a freshman, you're running up and you're out there running dummy defense for the varsity, and you pop somebody. You're not really laying this big guy out, but you're a little freshman and you pop somebody, and the guy looks at you like, "You're trying so hard for it right now." What are you doing? We're supposed to be going easy, but at the whole time you're trying to make your mark, right? You're trying to impress the coach,
trying to
do something. So it's kind of I don't know, is it like a little rite of passage there of what you have to do, but I think at the same time that coach appreciates that because if you weren't doing that, his star guy over here is not.
He's not working.
He's not working. He's on his heels. He's on his heels.
I grew up with a guy. He was a senior when I was a sophomore, named Brett Barham, and he was the defensive end that year. And when my first week or day on varsity as a sophomore, Eager Beaver, punt time.
Yeah.
So I go up there. I'm gonna be on, in practice. I'm gonna run down the punt, and I was fast for a 180-pound goofball, and I was flying. Barham had a pretty unique laugh, and right before he hit me, I heard the laugh
coming through that ear hole.
And he did. And they had it on film, and I mean, I'm running, and I never saw him, and I just collapsed.
Yeah.
And out, and I heard him laughing. He was laughing, and he looked up at me and he goes, "Don't ever do that again."
That's what I'm saying, man.
And I'm like, and I'm seeing two or three of it.
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
like, okay.
Yeah, I was because when you said this was going to happen at the beginning of the week, I was researching some stuff and I was looking at different drills and stuff that I missed. The drills in practice that I loved the most were I lose it now. I lost it now. What was it called? The Oklahoma drill. Where you had two guys on two guys.
Shotgun alley.
Yeah, and man, that was the shit.
Everybody standing
around,
around.
Yeah, and that was.
Yeah.
I think the NFL. I'm pretty sure the NFL. They got rid of. There it is. Yeah, that's it right there. Yeah. The NFL. They got rid of that one because they were getting too many injuries. And but now I get the NFL part. But like I said, it's for high school and junior high. I think they still do it, and I think they should because it's good for.
We used to call it
form tackling.
Our coach used to call it Nutcracker.
Yeah,
it was the Nutcracker.
Yeah, and I missed that shit, man. Like that was the best part of practice for me, man. I love that shit.
I don't know how all schools are.
Yeah,
but I know, just talking to my son, he's in college now, but a few years ago with him playing, they do a lot less, at least in his school. And I don't know. I'm not trying to second guess the coaches on what they do, but whether it was a smaller school with not a lot of depth or maybe to avoid injuries, but they did very little physical contact in practice. Very little. And I don't know if that's the norm, but I remember in our practices, most of the practice was physical contact.
And I remember, when we were talking about, seeing stars and shit, that's what at practice, you saw stars a lot, man. Like you see, especially when you were the younger going against the varsity, you get hit, And
you're standing in front of Bill Rogers, form tackling, step to the right, pow!
Yeah.
Step to the
left.
left.
That guy, Britt Hager, I told you about earlier. Yeah. When I was a senior, he was a junior. And we did those offensive, where you stand there and you step into it.
Yeah.
And I had my helmet on. I put my, and I stepped. And when he put his helmet on, it was like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. And he started slobbering. He was going to hit you. But this was the just individual offensive drill. And I just kind of stepped into him. Boom! I'm like, and I said, man, we're on the same team.
Yeah.
And Coach Wilkins walks over and goes, "Hey, man, Rogers is my starter. Let's not hurt him the first day."
Right.
And Hager took his helmet on and giggled and laughed at me. He goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Thanks, dude." He put his helmet back on. Next time, it was the same thing. He had one speed, and you couldn't moderate that. So I had to learn how to get my ass kicked every day from that.
We were talking about the hidden drills and stuff.
Yeah.
We got a little off. We were talking. We were going and Bill never answered what his favorite
Go back to that. Yeah,
the favorite football movie.
Yeah.
If you had to watch a football movie,
I fucked up with Rudy. Yeah,
Remember the Titans.
You know, it's not. That's a good one.
You going?
I
my bad.
Invincible.
Invincible. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, and I'll tell you that
Mark.
my newest one that I discovered. Christy and I watched it together. Is Greater.
I haven't seen that.
Haven't seen it.
You need to.
Is that big?
I recommend it. I recommend
Okay.
it. It's about that the young man who he was a big heavy kid, and he wanted. he wanted-
Arkansas.
He wanted to be an Arkansas Razorback,
Oh, okay.
I have seen that
and
one.
I'm gonna
and
watch
he
that.
made it. And
I'll watch that.
he was the underachiever that. Yes, it's a true story that he
I'll
was
watch
an underachiever that played above his skill level.
Okay.
He kept getting better and better. He signed an NFL
Colts.
Oh shit! Really?
contract,
What's the name?
and he died the day
Oh shit!
the day
what?
after he signed it in a car wreck.
Oh shit!
Got killed in a car wreck going home to see his mom.
Going home to see his mom.
man, that's
And so, I mean, I'm not exactly ruining the movie because
No, no.
it's an actual true story. And what was neat is they show
Wow.
his locker at Arkansas is glass cased,
Yeah.
and they do a because he was a walk on.
Holy shit!
He was a walk on in Arkansas.
Okay. Brandon Woolsworth.
Hey, watch that one. Watch
That's
that
worth
one.
the watch.
Yeah,
Th-
I've
hey,
seen that
this
one.
time of
haven't
year,
seen that.
football, you need to watch
It's
it.
that time of the year, man.
Yeah.
And I said Rudy, but I'm bullshit. That's not my movie. My movie, it's just a funny one.
Hey, we just have to defend Rudy.
Hey,
We have to
I'm
defend
gonna
Rudy,
I'm
man.
gonna defend that Hobbit anytime I can. You know that little Hobbit.
There you
But movie, football movie, I would say would be because I related to it so much, or not related to because I was but just it spoke to me more, and it's because it had Tom Cruise, man. All the right moves, all the right moves with Tom
okay.
Cruise in
Yeah.
it, and it was true. Like you go to this small town, man, and you're playing. It reminds me of Austin because the school I went to was shitty, and we always watched the high dollar school. Like we was talking about Austin Westlake. We were talking about Austin Westlake where damn it, what was his name? Lost him. Saints was the quarterback.
Yeah, Drew Brees.
Drew Brees.
That's what Drew
Yeah.
Brees went to. So I followed the Westlake, Austin Westlake closely, man. They were a powerhouse, man. They were a powerhouse in the 90s and 2000s, and it was phenomenal, man. So yeah, so All the Right Moves is one of my favorite Tom Cruise movies. Tom Cruise was one of my favorite. He ran, of course, he ran.
He
in that movie.
ran full speed.
He ran
He
full
runs full
speed.
speed in every
He was
movie
always, he
that
always
he's
got he
Flies too.
yeah, he flies. Dude. He got in that movie. He got a lot of backlash in that movie because he was always it was a defensive back, so he's got pass interference. So he costed the game for the team. It's a good movie. Have you ever seen it? It's a classic movie. It's from like the 80s. It's All the Right Moves. Tom Cruise, Sean Penn, right? No, Penn.
His brother.
His brother. Yeah, his brother. Chris Penn. Chris, the heavy. Now he's fat.
Yeah.
Back in the day, he was cut. Man, he was
Okay,
cut. He was
okay.
dancing on Footloose and whatnot. But
You know,
that's my favorite movie. Man.
There's so many good.
There's so many
movies.
football movies.
I like Invincible. My favorite
Yeah.
line is when he's getting those light shoulder pads because he wants to go
He wants
fast.
to go fast, dude.
And the coach says, "You're gonna get killed in these." And he said, "Is it really gonna matter?" Everybody's down on him. Is it really gonna matter?
Hey, he made it, dude.
He made it.
Trent made it, man.
What's
Trent
up,
made it,
guys?
dude. Trent.
What's up, man?
Trent, we want to introduce you to Bill, man.
Hey, Bill, how you
we're
doing? Good.
We're doing on the air here. Screw
Yeah,
it.
on-
We'll do it
on air,
live.
on air.
We'll
We're
do
doing
it
it live.
We'll do it live.
Yeah.
No, but that's
Yeah, man.
Trent. Trent, band director. Like I said,
Yeah.
we were talking about that, and he.
Big fan of Rudy.
we gave you shit about Rudy already.
all right.
But no,
we don't have to get into that.
Hey,
Nah, we
That's
don't
another
have to. We don't have
podcast.
to.
That's
We don't
another
have
one.
to.
But no, we were talking about. So Trent actually deals with the Friday Night Lights,
Yeah.
But
Every
he's on the side that he hates. He's on the side that we don't like the band part. He doesn't like, I know he loves his job. He loves his job. I know he wants to be on the field. He wants to be on the field hitting people too.
Yeah.
So, but no, I'm
Well,
glad, I'm glad you made it, dude. I'm glad you made it. I'm glad you made it.
I played through through high school.
Yeah.
And
What did you put with position?
so I was a tight end and a deep snapper.
Okay. Deep
but-
snapper, dude.
Deep snapper.
We'll get into that.
Deep-
We'll
yeah.
get into that.
But I played. Chad Morris was my high school coach, and he went on and did some pretty big things. He was the head guy at SMU.
Nice.
For a few seasons. He was the head guy at Arkansas for
Oh yeah,
a
dude.
couple of seasons. Pretty solid team. A little nothing school. In
Yeah.
East Texas.
Not compared to that one. Huh?
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
little different there.
Yeah. But I went to school at Legion Fields, and we had a pretty nice run for a while, and made it to the state championship a couple times, and so I know Friday Night Lights well.
Yeah. So, but you experienced winning though, right?
Yeah.
I never got to, and that's what I was telling these guys. I never got to experience winning. I was always in a 500 team and shitty ass team, so I never got to experience that.
That's how my high school years.
I never got to experience
the
it.
team. We had a group of guys that were 2-3 years in front of me, and they were the winning team. So you go through those ups and downs, years. But Bill was telling us some stories from Friday Night Lights here, and we're gonna get into the famous guy here. Tell us what this booby's all about.
Yeah.
Booby Miles.
Yeah, that's a star, man.
That's a backstory on Booby
Well,
Miles.
it ends sad.
Oh, absolutely.
And I've never met him, so
Sure.
I'll say that. But you're talking about a guy that was legit. I went to some games his junior year, and he could be going one, and he had a second, third, whatever gear it was, he could step out and just, for a big kid, be gone.
Just roll.
Jesus Christ.
So he was a big kid too.
Big boy, huh?
Yeah.
Big boy.
Yeah.
He was
Stout.
He was legit. He was a legit Division I prospect.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what.
His head, his uncle, who understands the one, the guy in the movie that was. The movie didn't do him justice. I understand he was.
He was worse
real.
than that.
Yeah, they did. He said he was.
Yeah.
But the way they portrayed that in the movie, with him being so afraid of going to Midland to have knee surgery, I was telling y'all earlier, I had the same injury Booby had in 1982. Got hurt on Wednesday, had surgery on Thursday, was at the game watching Friday, and started 6 weeks later.
Wow.
Yeah.
Booby thought Dr. Dean was the guy that was the big ortho guy out there at the time. Thought he was going to, I don't know what he thought, but that he was going to not operate on him, and he tried to
do it right.
And it was never right. And what they showed in the book, he came, or the movie came and tried to run on his leg.
Yeah.
And the first time he tried to make that cut,
That's no dice.
cut back.
it was just it was over.
Yeah.
And he never recovered.
Did you were you injured in the same way, like in terms of
No, I was. We were talking about that earlier. I was the second team defensive end, and the starter had his shoulder pads come untied, so I went in for one play, stuck, got my leg folded over and set up, and it was pointed 45 degrees.
Jeez.
You know it. I tore my ACL and had to have my knee rebuilt. I guess they call it an ACL reconstruction. To use a hamstring tendon to build your new ligament and all, and you lose faith in that knee. It's a weird mental thing to
doesn't
recover
feel the
from
same
that.
for a long time.
And
No,
if ever.
My son tore his too. It was a partial tear on his, and I remember that. And it when it happens.
Oh yeah,
it. And my son, always coming from he grew up racing motorcycles. That, Bill, and so we always had a thing that whenever he would get hurt, whenever something happened or a crash or anything, I would always ask him, Brett, even from a small age, we learned, I'd ask him, I said, Brett, does it hurt or are you hurt?
Yeah.
Because there's a difference, right? You have that flash pain, I'm going to shake this off. And I remember that football game when he came out and then he went back in and then he came back out asking the coach to come out. He was running back. And I went to the fence, and he came up to the fence, and I said, just like I used to ask him when he was a little kid, I said, Brett, does it hurt or are you hurt?
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, he looked right at me, and he goes, Dad, I'm hurt.
Damn.
Because it. You
do.
When that happens. Yeah. And so he lost a season.
Our trainer
with
would
that,
say that you knew the difference. When you were hurting, he didn't allow. suck it up, Buttercup.
Yeah, suck it up.
But
If it
when
just
you were-
hurts, suck it up, right?
When you were injured,
yeah.
he knew.
Yeah.
And that day, mine popped. I knew.
Yeah.
And I knew by looking up at him, it was a completely different scenario what he was doing and pushed it, and that mother hen or whatever, he'd probably shoot me for calling him a mother. But you there was, you knew.
That chicken wing, yeah.
And it's like, oh shit, this is not good.
Yeah.
That sucks, man.
But Booby never recovered from that.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What year was he when that happened? Was he
I get confused on the dates, 88, 89.
Yeah.
but was he a senior or was he a?
Yeah.
So that was his year
Yeah.
to do his thing. Yeah.
If he'd have gone and had the surgery, he'd have been fine.
He'd
And
been back.
he'd have played.
Yeah.
As it turns out, the last I heard, he lives in Monahans in government housing,
Oh, Jesus.
and he's the assistant manager for one of the apartment complexes,
Jeez.
and
It's a shame,
just
man.
has never
It's a shame, man.
Never
had a job,
recovered.
never had a job, never had a real.
Big
Yep.
fellow over here. Yeah.
That's
That's a
Booby,
shame,
the big
man.
guy.
It's a shame, man. It's a shame.
Find a picture of him as a kid.
Yeah,
You know,
he's a cut up, man.
it's-
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He's a cut up kid, man. I mean, he looks like the movie star that was playing him, and it didn't. Look at that, man.
Yeah, he's a stud. Huh?
Yeah,
That's-
no
that's-
shit,
hey,
man.
I don't
That's
want
a
that high school
thoroughbred.
kid running toward
Hey,
me, right?
I don't have to run that. That guy didn't run me over, dude.
Look at that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks like an NFL player. He
he's
looks like
he's 6'2". I'm
Jesus,
guessing
man.
probably 200
I mean,
pounds.
he looked like he was ready for the NFL already.
Run a
man.
4.34. I
Come
mean, he
on,
was
4-3.
he
That's crazy,
was
dude.
fast.
That's insane, dude. That's a train.
You'd see him.
man.
He'd
Let-
turn the
let-
corner. Boom.
Let me tell you
He's on
this:
train.
if you're 6'2",
Yeah.
and what was his weight ish?
I'm guessing he's around 200 pounds.
I was going to say maybe 210, something like that. Coming at you off of a 4.3 40.
Well, not just coming at anybody, coming at most 150, 160 pound high school football players.
How many?
Really?
Hey,
I mean, right?
Hey, how many players did he hurt?
Yeah, no shit, right?
You know what I mean? I mean,
I-
there's no talent.
I don't know.
We
You
were
know-
talking about Johnny. We were kind of talking about like you were at the beginning. We were discussing about concussions and stuff. Like you were talking about how kids won't say if they're hurt.
Yeah,
that
you know,
were
like
saying.
what we were hearing is that the concussion protocol is much different now.
Yeah.
That back in the day, you would tell your coach, "Hey, man, I got my bell rung out there," or they would notice that you got your bell rung. "Hey, Bill, go sit out." Or maybe you'd sit out the rest of the game or not practice the first part of that week.
Maybe the series or something.
Yeah,
like
but
that,
now, and I don't want to downplay
Yeah.
the seriousness of a
Yeah, yeah.
concussion.
Yeah.
for sure.
But what I'm saying is this new protocol almost makes it more dangerous because the kid's not going to say anything.
Yeah, yeah.
This new protocol
He'll be
will
out for
take
weeks.
a kid
Yeah.
out for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They go
Trent,
so far.
If
Yeah.
you're trying to make your name for yourself and you want to go play football,
yeah.
and you get your bell rung really hard, you're not going to tell the coach.
You,
Shit, no.
you can't sit out. You can't afford to
You
sit
can't
out.
afford to sit out.
Opportunity,
Season's
man.
over.
You can miss that opportunity.
You get
Uh,
that CTE
yeah.
though, man. Hey,
Mm.
so something that I've noticed, just being in and around high school, it's not just something that I've noticed, but it's something that has been talked about. That there are less kids playing football. Like it used to be, that would be like the only thing that little boys wanted to do growing
yeah.
up. And there's less and less
Yeah,
people.
it's funny you say
playing.
that. It's funny you say that and you bring that up because 10, 15 years ago, man, I worked construction and whatnot, and I would listen to no judgment. I would listen to Rush Limbaugh a lot during
Yeah.
during the day. That's what I would listen to get through the day, and listen to AM radio. And Rush said something that I was like, man, he's full of shit. That ain't gonna happen. But he says, I think as time goes on, this was 10, 15 years ago. He's like, before you know it, I think high school football will be extinct. I think they won't do it anymore because of what you're saying. Parents are going to be less. Parents are going to let kids do that and let them expose themselves to those kind of hits and that kind of abuse. If my son wanted to play, man, I'd be all about it, man. Because what I was telling Bill earlier, man, we were talking about off the air. I was telling him, man, that there's no experience. There's nothing you can't explain that experience being with 60, 50 guys in the locker room, and you're going out to war. I don't mean war, but you're going out to a game. You're going to go fight. You're going to protect each other.
It's a battle. You're
it's
doing
a battle.
a battle.
You're gonna- and to these guys, you go out there. You can't never experience. You can't never explain that. You can never experience that, man. So that's why I tell my son, you're gonna, not to be rude to my son, but just like you're gonna regret not experiencing that, because the camaraderie, man, being with your boys and being with your guys,
Talking smack to those guys on the other
and
side.
knocking heads, and it's
You know?
okay to hit somebody, and it's it's an experience you can't ever
There's-
recreate.
there's-
Ever.
There's two feelings that I've experienced that I feel like are really hard to describe. One of them is winning a tight game in the last second that has some value to it, playoff game, something like that. And you go to battle for so long, and then the game's over, and you just barely squeak it out, or you just barely win. There's a high to that is hard to explain.
Yeah.
The only other thing that has come close to that is in the stands, like the band level, when the band goes to competition, and you've busted ass for months and hours, out on the pavement, learning, your show and stuff, and then you go again at a high level, at a championship level, and you finish 8 minutes straight of running around, doing your show and stuff, and like you finish, if it's a good performance, like that feeling of like the crowd, cheering and stuff or whatever, like those are two things that are hard to describe, and it's crazy that a lot of that comes from that Friday Night Lights feel, that feeling of small town. That's what you do.
You know what you just described what it's like to be a winner, and that's where the everybody gets a trophy crowd just misses out on that. It's there's something about being a winner and being a loser too, And I'm not talking about down on losers, but
there's another. I was going to say that's what I was going to say. There's another side to that coin.
Yeah,
it's the feeling of losing that tight game, or the feeling of not having that stellar performance or whatever. Like that's hard to describe too.
Like
losing
losing
in a different way.
it's just like I always tell. Losing is a good thing too, man, because you have to learn to deal with that shit. You got to learn, like, hey, man, I got my ass kicked, but hey, I learned something in that game. I learned that I did do the right thing in this area, or I didn't in this. I blocked that way wrong or whatever. But you learn from the loss even still, and that's the thing that kids don't know, that it's okay to lose, man. It's okay to lose. You can't always win. Now you got kids that just want to. If I'm not going to win, I don't want to do it. Well, no,
but the expectation should be to win.
I want to win.
There are kids now that it's.
Yeah.
They've never even
doesn't-
had anybody
it doesn't matter if we
hold
win
them
or lose.
accountable
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
win.
No, it
That's
matters.
okay.
No.
Just go through the motions.
It's about the experience.
No,
Yeah.
it's not that, dude.
No,
I want
it's
to win.
about winning.
No,
it's
it's
about
like
winning.
Yeah,
Don't get it twisted. It's
No.
about winning.
No,
Yeah.
growing up, that was always my thing, to win. I always wanted
Yeah.
to win. If you didn't win, what's the fucking point?
Well,
Look,
you were out
I
here a
wanna
minute
win.
ago when we were talking about it. It's like, tell me a life lesson after high school and college that doesn't revolve around you either win or you lose. The IRS doesn't show up and say, nice try.
It's all right.
Yeah.
We'll
It's
let you
true.
pass. Let you pass on the taxes.
true.
Hey, fuck them taxes.
You know,
You
they
know,
show up and say,
So kind of bring it back for a second. Let's talk about the fact that a lot of things have changed. In our day, the coach could talk to you differently than they talk
he
to
could
kids
talk to
now.
you.
I can't imagine being a coach now because, it's almost, man, you have to be nervous as a coach. I want to motivate this kid, but if I try to motivate this Keith kid too much, is he going to go home to his
sue.
parents and say that, make a school board complaint on me for telling me, hey, come on, man, hurry your fat ass up, or hey, Johnny, unhook that trailer, you run too slow, or
You know how many times I got jerked to the field
face mask
by my face mask?
Yeah, and they don't do that shit no more. I don't think they get touched to you no more. And that's the shit that
there's not horror stories, but there's
We'll call them character building stories. How about
yeah.
that?
Well, I mean, I think back, at the ripe old age of 57, the things I learned playing Permian football.
Yeah.
And I've said for the last 5 years, I need to call Coach Wilkins and tell him, thank you.
Yep.
I got to play at a time and space where it meant something.
Yeah.
And those life lessons that we learned on that field, whether that was his goal, it carried on through the rest of my life. When presented with something, the old adage, it's okay to get knocked down, you get back up.
Yeah.
I've gotten knocked down a bunch.
Yeah.
I've never not gotten up again. And that I learned. I didn't learn that from somebody telling me it was okay to cry or okay to whatever. I learned that playing football and putting in that effort and seeing it. And when you got knocked down, you got up. And when we were talking about when I hurt my knee. cold blooded. Next day, they took my equipment out of my locker, and I'm like, put that shit back.
Yeah.
I'm coming back, and they looked at me and they go,
No.
Hey,
maybe.
Yeah.
They hung it up. I
Yeah.
looked at that shit every day for 6 weeks.
Motivation.
And when I got my clearance, I walked in and I handed it to him. I said, I need that and I need those.
Yeah.
And about 30 seconds later, it was all set up and out we went. That's a digression from that other point of kids today get made 400 excuses to say,
Oh yeah, can't do
you don't have to show up.
Bullshit,
yeah.
I'm gonna say this: there are some tread lightly here. There are some outside factors to the hesitation that coaches have, the hesitation that, to be fair, teachers in general have, that we'll talk about off air. But there's some things that have changed in education in general, that have made particularly extracurricular activities extremely difficult to teach motivation in that way.
I remember talking about motivation. I remember the coach distinctly saying, you want to quit this team? Talking to folks on the team, you want to quit this team? You want to be a loser? And back in our day in the town, he goes, you want to hang off the back of an old pulpwood truck all day long? You want to be a loser? Go turn your stuff in, and you can come by tomorrow and pick up a year's supply of Kotex from me. I mean, those are
they
just
can't do that now.
That was just words, I remember.
Yeah.
I remember in junior high football, the head varsity coach coming in and talking, and he goes, he's telling us all this about preparing. You're entering this whole football journey, but he says, some of you guys are going to excel more than others. Yeah. He said, because in the 7th grade, everybody plays football, right? Everybody comes out, and he goes, because some of you guys are athletes and some aren't. Doesn't matter how hard you try, you're just not going to be any good. He said, because you can't make a racehorse out of a mule.
That's true, man.
And I mean, that just, and some people are sitting there and that kind of crushed him, right? Hey, I want to be a football player.
Yeah.
But that was real.
Yeah. And it's motivation for me.
You need to be, you need to know. I mean, that either motivated you to play up past your level, or
weeded out the people
you went
that
and turned your stuff in and got out of there,
Yeah.
And so that kind of talk, I don't know. Maybe they can't do that now, but
I'll add on to that and say it has drastically changed just in the last decade, just in the last 10 years. It's changed a lot, and I don't. I'm having to
No, I mean, you're still
choose
there.
my words.
You're still there. You're still there.
But there's, I don't know if it's just an overall culture thing. I know we're deep into the woke culture now, and you got to be careful with what you say and who you say it to, and it used to be that words on a football field were exactly that. They were just words on a football field, and then when you step off, it's a whole different
the fact,
scenario.
and you work in the deal, so I understand, but the fact that you have to set up a conversation that way these days,
sad.
it's like,
sucks. Yeah.
It's sad.
to just have a discussion and say, this works, that may work a little better, that didn't work. You got to think about it, because someone's out there, like Rush Limbaugh used to say, somebody's out there listening, and they're waiting to be offended.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. No shit.
They.
The thing about it, I told my son was goddamn, what was I gonna say? The thing it's from a movie. It's a movie quote, and I always told him, he's like, you're not, you want to be, when people will tell you, oh, you can be a president, you can be an astronaut, all this shit, say, but you know what? The world always needs a ditch digger. You always gotta have it, man. You're always gonna have a ditch. You need it.
Ditch,
so don't. So it's just the reality of the world. It's like you can want to do all this, but in the end,
don't pick on ditch diggers. Now.
Hey, I respect him, man. Hey, man, the guy that I respect the most is that guy that does the lineman that puts the electricity back up. That's a hero. That's a real hero that keeps the lights back on, man. When the power goes out,
when you're
lineman.
for it too.
When you're inside, hiding from the storm in the dark, he's driving down the road looking for the problem.
Yeah, he's trying to fix it, and that's the hero for me. That's a big hero for me. And I don't. And anytime I see those guys, I shake their hand, tell you thank you, because when them lights go out, those guys are out there kicking ass, man. That's the
Hey,
shit, man. That's,
I want just to call back to what we were talking about a second ago. I don't know if y'all have already talked about this or what, but we were talking about Friday Night Lights, winning, losing, that feeling. You guys talk about Plano John Tyler yet?
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm talking about? They were down state championship game. They were down. It might have been the semifinals. The semifinals or the state championship game. They were down 4 touchdowns going into the second half. No, going into the fourth quarter. Kickoff, ran it back. Onside kick, recovery, touchdown. Onside kick, recovery, touchdown. Down to the video's on YouTube. We'll pull it up after the show and watch it. Get down to there's seconds left in the game. All they got to do is kick it deep. They came back. They came back, and they're up by however many points. All they got to do is kick it deep, tackle them, game over, comeback of the century, right?
Oh, shit. What was it? What game was that?
It was John Tyler versus Plano.
Okay.
And I think there's like 5 seconds left on the clock or something like that. Kicks it deep. They ran it back. Won the game.
Game over.
No shit, dude.
I mean, it was the comeback of the century until it was spoiled in the last
Squashed.
last
Right
5
in.
seconds.
28-3.
Yeah, it was more than that. I think. Yeah.
Y'all go ahead. I'll be right. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll pull that video. I'm going to show that to you. We'll pull the video up. It's short. It's little. It's got the highlights, of it or whatever, and short to watch. But you got to see it, man. It is unbelievable. You talk about never giving up, right? And just the perfect example of when you're facing adversity, like literally, you can never. It's not over until it's over, But
On that state year in '80, when we were playing Highland Park, and there was such a disparity in the size. At the end of the game, and I forget the final score now, but I think we won by a field goal. Highland Park had it on the 1 yard line. Their offensive line was 280, 290. Our defensive line was 160, 165. First and goal on the 1 yard line. Fourth and goal. All they had to do was fall forward.
Fall forward, yeah.
And that guy, Brett Barham, I was telling you about, went 29 double gut. And
Just stopped them.
just upended their running back. And, I mean, just blew him up.
Yeah.
And they were all standing looking like, y'all can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the look they had. Is
Yeah.
that was them.
How is this happening?
Yeah, and it was want to.
Yeah.
Our guys were tough, and not that they weren't, but it was. You watched it, and it was. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
that didn't just happen, but it did. It was cool.
So, I meant to ask you earlier, we were talking about the season ticket holders and everything out there because, I mean, no doubt about it, it was big out there. You mentioned earlier that when you were there, you didn't know any different. You just thought that's how everybody played high school football. But did they tailgate out there?
It's funny. They did big time.
So
And they had to have the small town deal because they'd park their motorhomes. And they'd have-
motorhomes for a high school football game.
The Chuck Wagon
Oh, yeah.
gang would be out there cooking barbecue, and they'd be.
Hey, that's
funny.
You're talking about country, like little country schools, and
Yeah,
that's what you
well,
did.
here's
They didn't drink, did they?
like a fish.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
did the police look the other way?
Yeah.
Because here's the funny
Yeah.
thing, and you've probably heard this. Anybody in 1982? It's bigger now, but anybody have any idea how big Odessa, Texas was in 1982?
No.
85,000 people.
Huh.
Shit. Dude.
How many people
Jeez.
did that stadium hold?
20, was it 19?
I think it
20?
actually sat 20, and they
20.
do standing room
Yeah.
only. It would
Yeah.
get up to like 22,000.
Jesus,
When we
dude.
play Odessa High, didn't matter what the year.
Yeah.
That was always both sides. So
That's
in a
cool,
town of
man.
85,000, you got 22,000 of them out there in the stadium,
Yeah.
and at least half the police force.
Yeah.
So if you want to commit a crime in Odessa,
It was
That's the
quiet.
time.
That's
what
when
you do.
Hey, hit that bank.
Yeah.
Hit that bank, man.
Yeah.
but that's
That was a thing though, man.
Yeah,
like
man.
it's especially if it's a smaller school in a rural community where to expound on that, if you were a good football team in a small school in a rural community, I mean, that's what you did. That's what everybody did.
You know, we were
on
talking about it
Fridays.
earlier,
Yeah.
Trent. You just and you know, you're still there. You still get to see and go but you know, you go to these games that if you got that good drum line in the band that's just, you know, just playing, the drums are going, the popcorn smell, the big pickle, the Frito pie.
The hot Frito pie on a cold night, man.
Yeah.
That's the thing, man. And that's what we were talking about when you were texting back and forth, and you were like, "Oh man, I hate Friday Night Lights," or "I hate Friday." And I took it wrong because I was telling these guys, I was telling them, I said, "Man, when I played ball, man, that's what I lived for. Friday night, you know, crashing through the big paper, whatever. The noise, the cheerleaders,
looking,
everything,
and you're going, oh man,
the energy,
that shitty ref crew's here again, man. These guys are terrible.
That energy, you can't describe that to anybody what that is, man. And to be able to hit somebody, man, to be able to go, you know, I'm gonna go hit that guy over there, and I'm not gonna get in trouble for it. That was the shit, man. And
the whole game's live.
Yeah,
no
live
replays.
My coaches say live and in color. It's live and in color. You hit him, man. You hit him. It's time to go, man. So I miss those days.
You know, for me, and I mean, obviously, I'm messing with you when I say I hate it, but that's a play on the fact that it's my job. So that's you know, while everybody else is living
enjoying
it up on Fridays, you know, I'm working till midnight, 2:00 in the morning.
Working
you know?
it, dude. You're working it.
But
I get it. Yeah, and my
it's still fun. That's the thing.
Oh yeah.
What I don't like is getting to away games, loading up, all the logistics behind it.
Yeah.
That's the part that I don't like. When we get set up, I have a blast with the kids. Man.
Sure, imagine.
And
imagine.
You know, we played Liberty this last week, and
how's y'all's team out there?
Good. Yeah, we're always several rounds deep in the playoffs, and they've been to state a couple of times the last decade, but we played Liberty, and we were up, and Liberty started coming back a little bit in the third quarter, only up by one touchdown, and they held on to win, and it was fun, man. It's fun to see the kids excited about it. It's fun to see the freshmen come in and get to experience that feeling, because that's their first taste of it. What I will say is when the kids don't have good leadership to teach the lessons that go behind everything that happens with Friday nights, it can become toxic. And I don't mean toxic in a woke way. I mean literally, like, it can be something that consumes them in a way that is not healthy. And that is a struggle for kids that have not been told no a lot in their life. That's a struggle for kids that grew up getting participation trophies too much. And those are the types of kids that when they face adversity, they fold.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, we saw when my son was playing football, we saw a kid lose it on the other sideline, get into a physical altercation with his coach.
Wow.
Jesus, man.
And get pulled from the game. But you were talking about away games.
Yeah.
And I wanted to touch on something.
Uh-oh.
That bus ride home. From an away game.
I knew that's what you were going to ask about.
That
too.
bus ride home goes
you're gonna
one
talk
or
about
two ways. I mean, it's either a
party.
where you stop at the Whataburger, the Dairy Queen, and everybody's having fun,
Or
it's a sit down and shut up.
Quite as shit.
Right?
Ride home, man.
I mean, that ride home on a loss.
That's
I was on the bus after a loss, and somebody said something, and we started laughing. And Coach jumped on the bus, and he lost. He blew a lid, and he was yelling. He said, "This is fun for y'all." He said, "Y'all enjoy losing."
Yeah.
Y'all like
every coach that's ever coached football has probably said that.
Yeah. So you could hear a pin drop the rest of the way home.
Bill,
I'll tell you
that's
that.
the equivalent of the motocross dad saying, "We're done.
Yeah. Next.
We're done. We're done."
Go ahead, Bill.
Well, it was funny as you were talking about the bus ride home, and my perspective is skewed, but we flew.
Oh,
yeah.
That's great.
Now,
Fucking Odessa. God damn it.
not
Permian.
not every time.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
but if in El Paso,
Yeah.
if it was the preseason game, we drove.
Okay.
But once the playoffs hit,
Playoffs.
we flew. If we had to play in El Paso, then we flew.
I'm telling you, that was Bill's probably had more
Hey.
more celebrity experience than some college players out there, and during that time, that's cool.
Well, when I played, you talking about knowing when your last time to take the pads off is. My dad was crushed. I didn't want to play college football, but when I finished my senior, I was okay with it. I'd got to be on a state championship team. I was,
I wish you'd brought that ring.
I was a sophomore, so I didn't get
shit.
one.
Okay.
But my football career, we lost one game,
See,
the last one.
damn.
That was a little tough, but
Yeah.
I was over it. I went to Southwest Texas, and my dad was going, "Man, it'd be sure good if you'd walk on, just try." And so shit.
That's with Bobcats.
Yep.
Over there in San Antonio or
San Marcos.
San Marcos.
And so I started lifting. I got in shape, and I walked on, and I could play college ball.
Yeah.
My want to wasn't at a level, but I went through the spring, and I did the spring, and I could play college ball. And
Yeah.
Coach O'Hare pulled me in and gave me the speech of, "Yeah, you're probably going to have to get your shoulder fixed. You seem to have a little hitch, and we got scholarship athletes here, and they're going to do all the playing." It was kind of the Rudy scenario.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
You're the live tackling dummy.
and I'm looking at him, and I said, "You don't have a player on your team that I can't play with."
Yeah.
He goes, I know that, but you're not scholarship. And I'm like, so you're telling me that I'm not going to play? I don't have a chance to play? Well, and at that point, I said, you're the worst motivational speaker ever. I said, all you had to tell me was I had a
Chance.
Earn it.
all I had to have was a chance, and you'd have had me.
Yeah.
I said, now, thank you. And this is where I step off. I'm going to Grimm's. My buddies are there drinking.
Yeah.
I'll be drunk in an hour.
Yeah.
And that was how and it was
Kind of
kind of a last.
anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
into
but
that deal, huh?
I tried. I could have
Yeah.
done it, and then he said, "I'm out."
And I think the going back to the high school thing, the winning culture sort of bleeds into the rest of the school too. I've been with teams. I was talking to one of my assistants the other day about this actually, and I don't think I've ever been as a head director. I don't think I've ever been at a school that didn't make the playoffs. So if you're an athletic director and you're listening to this, pay me some money. I'll come there because you're going to make it to the playoffs if I'm there. But I
Rabbit's foot.
I taught at Cameron at CHO High School, and that's a team there that they're 3A school, but they went 3 years without losing a game. I mean, it was back to
Cameron
back.
Yo.
Cameron Yo,
Yeah, they have they're good athletes. They have a hell of a track program, baseball, everything.
Oh yeah, and they're that winning culture from the football team bled into, and it's not you're right. It's not just the football team from the athletic program bled into the school, and you started seeing a lot of other.
Participation goes up in everything.
In everything.
Yeah.
In everything.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, they're really good in theater. All of a sudden, they're really good in band. All of a sudden, they're really good in all these other activities because that winning culture sort of was built from that. And I'm not naive enough to think that it doesn't have to do with staff and people in place. But when you go 3 years without losing a game, that's hard to
winning helps. No
helps,
one. When you're coming up and there's no heroes to look forward to, there's no heroes in the upperclassmen. It doesn't get, no one really wants to play. That happens. That happens to schools. But the other thing that I think is not good for a lot of high school sports is that parents think that they need to specialize their kids at an early age.
Oh yeah.
These baseball parents think that their 8-year-old is going to be a major league baseball player, so he never plays any other sport. The football
Right.
players are starting these Pop Warner League
Yeah.
games, and they're playing. And so I think that's why you have
Burnout.
fewer players on some of these teams. And
Yep.
now some of these players are really good and they're really specialized, but a good athlete is a good athlete. And I think a lot of coaches would tell you that a good athlete is actually a better athlete if he plays more things
He's rounded.
than just
yeah.
that one, you
'Cause,
know.
one of the things that we did with playing, they encouraged us to do wrestling.
Yeah.
For leverage and whatnot. So that
Yeah.
was one of the things we were encouraged to do, was to do wrestling and whatnot. I wasn't a fan because I didn't like the outfit, the singlet, whatever it's called.
Yeah,
Wasn't
I
a fan
wouldn't
of
have
that.
done well
Hey,
on
I wasn't a
either.
fan of that. but my balls weren't happy about that.
Package was just out
Hey,
there.
it was
huh?
all everywhere. It was all twisted and backwards and shit. But I wanted to just kind of hit on the thing I wanted to hit on was like two-a-days. Like,
Oh,
like
yeah, man.
You know,
Ooh,
two-a-days. I know you were talking about two-a-days,
yeah.
Yeah.
and for me, two-a-days, it shaped me as a man. Being out there in the heat on a Texas summer at 8 a.m. to fucking noon.
Yep.
You're out there busting your ass. And it taught me to be a man. To like now, as you know, as I got older and I work construction, it's like, man, this heat ain't shit. You know, I'm just hauling lumber and drywall. Before I was, you know, beating the shit out of a 200-pound guy, and I'm out lugging a guy around and beating, you know, and smashing with these guys, and I'm just working. So those summers made me a man.
You know,
That was cool.
We actually
I-
did a drill during 2-a-days, especially if we weren't putting forth the effort. Air raids. We'd
up,
run
downs? Oh,
like wind sprints. You'd run, and when you blew the whistle, you
go
just
down?
had to dive.
Yeah, green bays.
Yeah.
We called them green bays.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we called them air
yeah.
raids, and it was
Yeah.
just over and over
Yeah.
hitting that ground and dust and grass, and you get up and go. And you did that in the morning, and then you went home, and you got cleaned up. You know, maybe you got some lunch or something, and then you came back.
Come back,
But
man.
Now they don't even do 2-a-days anymore.
I see. I don't know because I'm
They
not.
don't do it
kinda- I'm
anymore.
out of the
They
loop,
don't.
So they
That's
don't.
why they're not. I mean, there's
They don't.
two things in that conversation.
Okay.
The first one is this one always blows people's minds. When we started two-a-days,
Mm-hmm.
you know, here's the hype. The night before that first two-a-day, we always got hammered. We showed up for that first practice, and most of us were still drunk.
Right on.
And because you knew you
Yeah.
were going to throw up anyway.
yeah. Oh yeah.
And
yeah, I was.
you know, it was, and I never did know if the coaches knew, but we did. The guys before us and the guys just after, you know, they would do that, and you know, you're thinking back now, how stupid
yeah.
was that?
Oh
Yeah.
And
So-
what was it? It was something that you said that what were you just talking about? Because it was a funny.
I was just talking about the air raids and the
Oh.
the 2-a-days.
We had a coach in junior high. Forward rolls. We got in trouble on the bus.
Mm-hmm.
You ever done 100 yards of forward rolls?
Oh, yeah.
Shit no.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ours was bear
You-
crawl. Ours was bear crawl 5, roll 5, bear crawl 5.
Well, yeah, you'd
roll
bear
5.
crawl and he'd say roll, and you'd roll,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
you'd,
Oh,
and you'd
shit.
roll.
Yeah.
And you know, we did it one time, and we did 400 yards of rolls. And by the
Jesus
time you were
Christ.
done, we were all you
was
could
over.
see.
Oh, yeah.
It was
I
That
was
wouldn't-
done after 10 yards. I
Yeah.
was
yeah.
I
So
was over it.
That'd be child abuse today.
was there any
Oh, yeah.
amount of hazing from the seniors? And Jen, if you can look up the story on the hazing that just happened in San Antonio. You guys know
Shit.
about this?
No.
So a Texas team somewhere around San Antonio. Yeah.
Hot sauce.
20 something players suspended.
Jesus.
The initiation was you get a cookie and you soak this cookie in hot sauce and you got to hold it between your butt cheeks and you got to run. The freshmen have to do this, and if you drop the cookie,
Yeah.
you got to eat it.
Hey, I'm out.
And
I love
I'd take my ass beating on
Oh
that.
yeah, I get my ass
Yeah.
kicked. I'd be
so,
okay with that.
so you know, and evidently this was a long-standing tradition at this school.
okay.
They, you know,
Okay.
it wasn't just thought up this
Yeah.
year, of
No,
course.
it was. Yeah.
You know, because it takes some time to think up something that devious. That's pretty
Jesus
cool.
Christ, dude, the cookie.
But,
yeah.
golly.
Golly.
But evidently,
crack.
some kid received hot sauce burns in his
To the cheeks, inner cheeks.
yeah,
Oh, he had
Yeah.
to do it naked.
yeah,
Oh Jesus, man.
yeah.
I
I mean, that's hazing
but-
to the next level.
Well, but you know, that's funny.
That's funny,
You know,
though.
hey.
I have to say that's funny.
Hey,
My wife
hey.
would disagree with that,
Hey.
but and nobody meant to hurt anybody.
No, it's
nobody meant to hurt your feelings, and nobody meant to
You know,
chap your ass.
I think, you know, if these kids, man, I don't want to sound insensitive,
No.
but I think that as 35 and 40-year-old guys, those guys right there, if they hadn't complained about it, they'd be telling their buddies a story
good
about
times.
They'd be telling.
about
They'd
the
be
good
talking
times.
about.
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
They'd be talking about the
about
good
it.
times.
It's just like
You
I
know,
don't know if it was the naval.
did it
camp-
hurt? Yeah, it hurt.
Well,
Hey,
remember-
but you were one of the guys after you did it.
Oh yeah, you were in.
You were in.
You were in. You were in, and they asked you if you had a joint, and if you didn't, you'd be a lot cooler if you did. Anyway, but
Yeah.
but
If
but
I got
my
a
thing
deal
was
for
like,
you.
yeah, but the naval, but like I think it was the Naval Academy or the I can't remember what it was when they were doing those hazings when they were putting like the pins in the
Yeah,
guy's
punching a
chest.
pin. Yes.
Yeah,
SEAL
yeah,
training.
yeah, and you know I get that that's barbarian or whatever, but dude, that's the thing. That's tradition. Like
Yeah.
if that's tradition, you fucking go with it, man. You don't bitch about it. You know
Those
That's-
guys are the tip of the sword.
that's
I don't
it.
want any sissies.
Yeah, no. Hey, that's like I mean, so that's the same kind of thing. Is like when you're doing this, football is the thing, man. Where I remember the coach always told us, and it stayed with me forever. Coach Spin always told me if this was easy, everybody could do it. If it was easy,
Yeah.
it's not easy. It's not easy. So not everybody. Oh, you got all these guys at home. You know, going home, your buddies, your friends, they go home. They're not out here practicing in the heat, in the 100-degree heat. You are. Your buddy's going home. He's going home and jacking off and playing on the video game. But you're out here with us, and we're out here knocking heads, and that makes you the man, and that makes you a man, and that makes you tough. You know, so that's what makes you. And that's
Yeah.
what made it
Does
a
anybody
special
here
part.
work at Exxon?
No.
We can go for days here. 'Cause what you said on that deal is got it. The joke a minute ago about the ditch diggers. I've got an irrigation business, and my daughter was amazed to hear that I actually had a degree in finance. You know, she's like, "Oh, you got a
And you
You
did
can
get
read.
yeah.
You can read.
I can read.
Yeah, you can read.
bless." And my wife, bless her heart, she has to put up with more stupidity. But
Into.
the Exxon guys, we're up there doing a job. It's too hot. Y'all got to go home. It's too hot. It's July.
Yeah, that's just it.
You know,
Texas.
we
Yeah.
started. We're doing this deal, and it's like, no. The feel good temperature is 104. We're shutting you down.
Holy shit!
I'm like,
The feel good.
you
That's
you
real
got to
good,
be
huh?
kidding me.
Yeah, no shit.
And not related to football at all, but
No.
I have never
Yeah.
met a collective group of people
Mhm.
that fall over themselves to be stupid for safety.
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
it. Safety is an
No,
important
yeah,
thing,
for sure.
but it's July in Southeast Texas. The temperature's going to be
Hey,
That's
it,
what it
100
is.
it doesn't feel good in my living room
Yeah.
in July.
No.
So
But you know, I think, you know, it's like what you said, Keith,
Mhm.
talking about that. You don't have to be a college football player material
yeah.
to benefit from that experience.
Mm-mm.
You don't even have to be a good high school football player
No.
to benefit from that experience. It's just about
The team.
let it be a little raw, let it be a little tough.
Yeah.
You know, some things hurt,
Hey,
and it's
supposed to.
okay for
okay,
it. You know,
man.
you get a bruise,
Well, you get-
you get
You get your heart broke, man.
your heart
Hey,
broke. You get
you
your-
learn from that shit. You know,
Yeah.
you learn from that, man.
and it is a brutal sport in the fact that you know, people get injured doing it, but no one forces you to do it.
hell no, man.
Let
Sign up.
let the ones that want to do it do it. Don't change the game for the
Yeah.
people that don't want to play it anyway.
It's,
Well, yeah.
It's a good
You know what I
point.
mean?
Yeah.
Good
Don't
point.
change the game for the people that don't
Yeah.
want to play it anyway.
That's good.
No, that's good, man.
Good point.
Man, this is damn. You know, I sound like that old man on my couch and on my rocking chair on my porch, thinking about, man, it's the good old days. You know, but it's because it's not that it was the good old days. It's just like those days are gone now.
It is
because
different.
It's gone.
It is
It's
different.
gone now because you can't say what you want to say. Like even I don't even know how it is on the field with these guys if they can do. I know I'm not trying to be an asshole here, but I know in the NFL the guys can't say the N word to each other, even if they're a black gentleman. They can't say the N because what I'm trying to say is the game has been it's been so nerfed, nerfed.
What about
It's been so
can you
padded.
be like Tim McGraw now and be that loud parent
Hey,
cussing
dude,
at
he-
the
hey,
ref?
he-
I don't even know if you can
Hey,
do that now.
Tim McGraw is the best.
You can't
scene,
do
the
that
best,
now.
The best scene in that movie on Friday Night Lights is Tim McGraw drinking the fucking nasty ass milk out of a jug and out of the refrigerator. That was the
Yeah.
most fucking
But
disgusting episode
that
ever.
character
Yeah.
never happened.
Oh, never happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tim McGraw or anybody else
Yeah,
Yeah.
in my day,
that was the worst.
in that time,
Yeah,
would not have walked out there on the field like that.
yeah.
It would not
happen.
have happened.
Yeah.
There might have been something on the sideline. There
Mhm.
might have been some parents saying
Yeah.
something.
Oh, there's Finn's trash for sure.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
they're
But
like there's
you wouldn't have gone up and challenged Wilkins,
yeah.
Sure.
and you wouldn't challenged
Ga-
Gary Gaines.
Ga-
Gaines was
Yeah, but you were in football royalty territory. Over here.
Yeah.
I'm talking about regular old East Texas,
East
where the
Texas
coach
football.
sucks and the team sucks,
Yeah.
and the stands are up there letting him know.
Yeah.
They're gonna let you know, right?
Yeah.
No, it's man,
Dude, hey, you'll get depending on the school. I mean, you'll get
Put
they'll-
that,
the-
put that for
the
sale
coach will know.
sign. Put that for sale sign in the coach's yard.
They'll
Is
get
that what
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
hey,
Oh yeah.
throw a little trash in his yard, you know. throw a little
You'll
trash.
lose a couple of mailboxes for sure.
Yeah. No, man, this has
But-
been it's been cool as shit, man. Talking Bill, man, you brought a lot of memories back for me, man. Like this
Yeah.
whole podcast is about nostalgia and pop culture, and you brought the nostalgia back for me. I can smell, it's I know it's got the fucking cliche song with fucking what's his name, the damn little short guy that always wants to be a pirate. What's his name? The country singer.
Oh man,
I was going to say Johnny Depp.
no, the little
pirate guy. He wants to be a pirate.
Chesney guy.
Chesney.
Yeah.
Like, that his song does.
Oh, Kenny Chesney?
His song does ring true about the fresh cut grass and all that shit. Like that is true, man. Like when you smell grass, that when our yard guy cuts
Oh,
the
yeah.
grass, I smell that shit.
The
It
boys
reminds
of
me-
fall. There
yeah.
you go. That's the
It
name.
reminds me of, 2-a-days, getting hit in the mouth, all that shit, man. And Bill, you brought all that back, man. All that shit came back when you were
Yeah.
talking about football, and it's like, holy shit, man. I miss it, But
So we're gonna have to. I'll definitely go to a game this year. I think my daughter's boyfriend plays his senior year.
long snapper.
He's a long snapper.
Hey, he's gonna be big, ain't he?
He's
Is he a
What do we
long
get? Hey,
snapper
what do
or
we
a
get?
deep snapper?
He's a deep snapper.
What do we?
He's
Hey,
deep
what do we
snapper.
get?
We don't get.
We gonna
hey,
get-
we're
we
gonna
gonna get
ask him.
tickets?
He's already signed. He's gonna play for Baylor.
Holy
He's gonna
shit,
play
that's
for
amazing.
Baylor. So
That's amazing,
So,
dude.
so
Hey,
maybe we'll
awesome.
get like
what's his
a
name so we can keep an eye on him?
a T-shirt or something.
What's his
maybe.
name so we can keep an eye on him?
Oh,
Is he-
Dylan.
Dylan.
Dylan Shop. Yeah.
Dylan Shop. Keep an eye on him.
He's
If he
easy to
makes it
keep
big-
an eye on. He's 6'5". So
Yeah, I know. I eat chicken with that motherfucker.
Yeah.
He can eat, dude. He can eat some chicken, dude. He can eat some apple pie.
I don't know if this is how they still do it or whatever, but we would work out with the deep snappers would work out with the quarterbacks because it's a similar motion, moving the ball, and so I think that's how a lot of that's how a lot of people find out whether or not you're going to be a
They
good
can
deep
do it or not.
snapper
Yeah.
at a higher level. Is if you can throw with with the guys that's their position.
yeah.
But-
So I'm we'll probably be at a few games this year. I want to
Yeah.
come to check out a
Cold Spring.
Game
Cold
in your
Spring
neck of
game,
the
in.
woods.
Yeah,
Yeah,
come on,
man.
Yeah.
come
Check it
on,
out.
dude.
go see what the Trojans are doing over
Yeah,
there.
man. Yeah,
Where is Cold Springs?
we got a nice stadium man.
Out there
It's,
east of
uh,
Waverly out.
yes, it's between New Waverly and between Willis and Livingston.
Yeah.
Off of 150.
Yeah.
So-
So,
What's the development when my wife was asking me? Republic?
yeah,
Grand
that's going
Rapids,
to
is
be
that
real
out that way?
big. So your school's about to blow up out there with a bunch of new
Yeah,
homes moving in. But
yeah.
yeah, it's cool.
It already
this,
has.
this
It already
has made
has.
me
We've grown a lot, but-
just talking about it today is really just got me kind of pumped to want
yeah.
to go see a game.
Oh yeah, I wanna
Get that
see
Frito pie or not?
Oh, I'm gonna get that.
Hey.
Frito. You gotta get onions though. You gotta get onions.
Hey,
Hey,
so-
Frito pie
Ooh.
onions.
So, hey, did you do the walk-in taco with the bag? You put it in the
like
bag.
a Frito pie, right?
You know, it is a Frito
Yeah,
pie. It's just in
yeah.
the bag, right?
Just call it
Instead of the boat, right? It's you open the bag and you pour all the stuff in the bag and you just eat it out of the bag. But that's something that I prefer it out of the boat. I want to mix it up, and go to town. But no, I think the feeling of being, I mean, I've been to every football game at every level. I've been to Little League. I've been to junior high, high school. I've been to college games, pro games, whatever. There's something about a high school football game on Fridays as a spectator. Now, I have a little bit of a different perspective, working them, but there's something about going as a spectator. You just don't get that feeling from any other level. And it's not that it's better or worse. It's just different.
no,
that feeling is different.
it's sometimes, and I'll say, Bill, and you'll understand this from me. The football's the same way as motocross. And sometimes you enjoy it more when you don't have a dog in the fight.
Yeah.
You just go and hang out.
Because you're not worried about that one individual or you're not keying on everything of your
just enjoy the
kid
game.
or your rider, your player. So you can just enjoy the whole experience, enjoy the game. And, in your line of work, you probably appreciate this. I think it's so cool when at a high school game, I mentioned those drums earlier.
Yeah.
When you hear the band playing the school song, fight song.
Oh yeah.
And then you get the same thing on a big level. You at the college, you hear this band just
It's different.
rising to the occasion.
Yeah.
I really believe that I won't ever get this opportunity, but if I was an NFL team owner, I'd put a band in the stadium.
The
Do
Browns,
they?
I think the Cleveland Browns got one.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
they got,
I just think that
There's
that's
a lot
just
of-
I think
There's a lot of pro teams
Like
that
the
have
Jets.
drum lines.
Okay.
Jets,
But it's
Jets.
not for the players because they'll put the drum lines up in the rafters. It's for the fans.
Okay.
So all the fans that want that experience,
Yeah.
they'll buy tickets.
I think that's cool,
next to
though. I
whatever.
think that's cool.
Dallas Cowboys have
I think
drum
Bill,
line.
I think
They
Bill,
do. I
he
didn't know
beg to
that.
differ.
Yeah,
Bill beg to
that's
differ.
where
That's what we were talking
Hey,
about. Like,
Bill,
I get.
Hey, Bill
They-
says you're either here to watch a football game
fuck outta here.
or go home.
Yeah.
No,
and I agree with-
take
Pretty
your,
close.
Take
And
your Frito pie and your cotton candy and drive your Prius to the house.
No, that
Yeah.
stuff's good. The Prius we can do without. The cotton candy, the other.
Yeah.
I guess he wasn't here when I said that.
Yeah, go ahead.
The
Go ahead, Bill.
and it was the Cowboys. I mean,
Yeah.
we went up and watched the Cowboys and Green Bay Packers,
Uh-huh.
and they had old men dressed in cowboy uniforms, and there just wasn't a dead time. You couldn't
Yeah.
just hear the play, and I'm like, shut the fuck
Yeah.
up. I want, I've heard the whistles. I've heard. I don't. I'm here. It's like at motocross.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
want to hear the guy yelling before the starts. I
Mhm.
like hearing the motor go up. I like hearing the pin pulled out of the start gate. I like hearing it, and the motor's going.
That's a difference between being a real fan of the game,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You understand the game
Yeah.
probably better than the casual fan, and so you like those things. But
Well, I keep picking on my wife, and she'll probably, that's picking on her more. She enjoys some of that.
Yeah.
And comes from daughter being a cheerleader and some of that. And I'm not a good guy to watch a sport, whether we're there live or watching it on TV.
Yeah.
Because I'm critiquing it from what I think is my side. And when they do dumb shit,
Yeah.
I'm yelling at the TV.
Yeah.
And she's like, just enjoy the game.
Watch
and
the
I'm like,
game.
I can't.
I can't enjoy the game.
I can't enjoy
I know
it.
too much. I
When-
know too much to enjoy the
When
game.
now you got a receiver that is a receiver in one instant and a defensive player in the next, and you can't hit him.
Yeah.
And 2 years in a row, that had an effect on the college championship game when that Clemson kid
Mhm.
made a good, what in our day would have been a good hit, a good whatever.
Oh yeah.
And
Yep.
they kicked
But-
him out of the game
Yeah.
because in a split second, he couldn't change his direction.
And that's why when he got up, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Mhm.
That's why when he got up, he was genuinely looking around like what?
Yeah.
What did I do wrong? He actually didn't know what he did wrong. He was like, "What?
that was a good hit.
Like, what did I do wrong?"
Yeah.
And you can't. There's no possible way.
It's so
you
arbitrary.
you can calculate what's right and wrong in a split second like that.
Yeah, and for me, when I grew up as a kid watching football and watching highlights and stuff, like I watched players like Tatum, what's his name? He used to play on the Raiders.
Jack Tatum.
Jack Tatum. And I used to watch players like that would hit the shit out of a receiver. And I was like, yeah, that's a hit. Like
Ronnie
that's,
Lott.
Yeah, Ronnie Lott.
Ronnie
Those guys,
Lott.
like,
We were taught to tackle.
yeah, dude.
And the first guy, I mean, you'd put a hit on him.
yeah,
But
that's
if
it.
you hit them and can stand them up,
yeah,
and you go look at a YouTube video
Yeah.
of some of the older Permian games that are out there, and you can see it, and it's just like darts.
Oh yeah.
And we played Fort Worth OD Wyatt. I was sitting on the sideline. We beat them. I mean, the score, we beat them 40-0.
Mhm.
They had nearly half their team that wouldn't come out for the second half. They took
Yeah.
their pads off.
Jesus, dude.
And they were sitting up under the bleachers, and they had more guys with hamstring pulls and stuff. We beat them to. They'd never been hit like that,
Yeah.
and it would probably be illegal now.
Yeah.
No,
You strike me as the kind of guy that would like this. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but there's a ESPN 30 for 30, and it's called "The Best That Never Was." and it's about the kid from he's from Mississippi. I can't remember his name for the life of me. Can you look up The Best That Never Was, 30 for 30? And he ended up going to OU. He's a running back. Went to OU.
Dupree?
Yeah, Dupree. Yeah.
Marcus.
I don't know if Marcus Dupree. That's
I've
right.
seen that.
Yeah.
You've seen it. Yeah. Have you seen this? You absolutely have to watch this. I mean, it is unbelievable. This kid's highlight reel is unbelievable. Gets an injury, I think, in college. I think he was injured in college.
He got hurt in college, and then he got hurt, and he played the USFL.
Yeah.
For New Orleans Breakers.
Yeah. So he played, I think, 2 games or something like that for the Detroit Lions, and they were like, "You're not the same person as you were in college," and he ended up getting hurt and set out the rest of the season, and then he went and his pro career was USFL. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a shame, man.
You've never seen him play? You never saw any?
No.
Adrian Peterson.
That
Was
guy
a punk
Yeah.
compared to that. Yeah.
compared
Really?
to Dupree.
Oh,
This
shit.
guy right here was
Not to say Adrian Peterson.
No.
But you're
Yeah.
just comparing the caliber of
this
this
guy was an absolute monster. I mean, there's highlight reels on YouTube of this kid getting, and I don't mean 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 videos. There's 50 videos on YouTube of this kid in high school and college, but this kid in high school getting the ball and physically pushing people off of him,
like
and just going. I mean,
your comment from earlier.
a Bo Jackson type.
oh
You
yeah,
got one
type guy.
kid.
but faster.
He'd
yeah.
run into the end zone, and he'd have half the team. He'd either knocked over, run over, or they were still hanging on.
They were hanging on.
That's
Yeah,
awesome, dude.
yeah.
That's a
Check
man.
that out, man.
That's a man.
It's worth watching for sure.
So, Bill, are you a big pro football fan?
No, you don't watch it anymore.
I do.
I think your wife watches a little football.
She is a staunch Packers fan.
Yeah,
Jesus
we
Christ.
we
Hey,
yeah,
that was a catch.
yeah, we have to
that was
give
a
her
catch.
we have to give her a hard
Des
time.
Bryant caught that
every
goddamn
once in a
ball.
while.
That was
Well,
definitely a catch.
she
He caught
is
that ball.
huge and made me one. The thing that
Shit.
kills her is
You crossed over.
I've never yelled at a TV.
I'm telling that game, yeah.
I've never yelled at a TV
I
more.
was
than I did in that
was
game.
in Dallas at Gas Monkey restaurant watching the game
I
in
was
Dallas with
pissed.
Dallas fans.
Packers
It
and the
was-
Cowboys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was-
that's the
I was
game we
pissed.
were at when it was so loud.
He
Jesus
catched
Christ.
that. He,
Oh,
he
you were
caught
at that
ball.
game?
We were at that game.
Caught that shit.
He
man.
caught that ball. I'm sorry, but he
Uh,
caught that ball.
I think it's been proven now that it actually was a
It was a
catch.
catch.
right?
Yeah,
Now,
yeah,
now,
yeah.
But I
back
mean,
then it was
They
a
say
catch.
it now, but I mean, it
Yeah.
doesn't mean anything
No, it
now.
doesn't
I
mean
mean,
Hey, we were in the goddamn Super Bowl, man.
I
Cowboys in
know,
the Super
seriously.
Bowl, man.
Yeah.
Shit, man.
Well, having a last name of Rodgers and your wife a fan
yeah,
of Aaron Rodgers,
yeah,
and she bought us jerseys and put Rodgers on the back,
yeah.
and everybody has to tell us you spell that with a D. And we're like, no, not really.
Not my house. Not my house.
Not at this, but
his house.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
That's funny.
but it's
Aaron.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, this has been awesome, dude. This has been something else, dude. It's something else, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate you making time for us, Bill. I
oh, you
really
bet
appreciate you
anytime.
making
I've
this.
enjoyed it.
So-
And go ahead.
I'll just have a
Go ahead,
couple
go
more
ahead, go ahead.
questions
No,
for
go ahead,
Bill,
go ahead, go ahead.
and we have to ask Bill. A typical, you know,
52?
is he team?
Oh,
Is
Oh, yeah, we got
you're a Texas boy, right?
Texas
A
guy?
boy?
Oh yeah.
So you've seen Urban Cowboy, right? Are you team Pam or team Sissy?
This is going to be bad because my ex-wife's name is Pam.
Okay.
The plot.
And
The
so-
plot.
So
the plot
I'm
thickens.
going to
The
go
plot
Sissy.
thickens. Okay.
Just
Okay.
because the whole
Because you can't,
Can't.
because Tina doesn't need to hear you about the team
well,
Pam.
she's heard enough about that.
Yeah.
But no, I'd have to go
Sissy.
I tell you the funny story. A guy that I met in college grew up in Eagle Pass. His name's Clay Jones, and they had a cattle company and supplied all the beef to Wendy's, all of them. And he spoke Spanish as his first language, but he's a white kid. His mom was a dance instructor. She taught Travolta how to dance, and Clay was the clown, the one in the green shirt.
In the movie?
In the movie.
No
He
shit.
was telling us this. We're drunk by a pool one day. I was like, you're full of
And you
He,
look.
and he got so mad he left and he went and bought the movie and came back. This is in the VHS days.
Yeah.
And he put it in and there he is.
Rewind, tracking.
Tracking, yeah.
The Urban Cowboy. So it's
No.
what's
So-
that
No,
relevant.
that-
So
relevant
one
to?
more question, since you're a, you know a lot about football. You're a good football guy. So if you were a coach and Ralph Macchio was on your team, what position would he play?
You got to take that rug off first.
If Ralph Macchio was a football player,
helmet off.
what
Be a
what kind of
cheerleader?
position do you think he? Well, no, come on now. This guy's going to be a guest on the show, so
Yeah,
It's
that's true.
It's gonna
So-
happen.
so-
It's gonna happen.
we just
Well, how's he
wanna know.
going to be a guest on the show
We're working
before
on
I
it.
answer the
No,
question?
we're working on it. We're working on it.
We're working on
Is
it.
he going to
We're
hear
working on it.
this?
It's in
Yeah,
the
we're
works. It's
working
in the
on
works.
it.
It's in the
No,
works.
it's what do you see Ralph Macchio playing as
Bench.
a football?
There you go. That was the fastest answer I've ever heard anybody.
I'd have him as the.
He may be a karate guy, but he's
Yeah.
not a football guy.
No,
No,
he's
no,
not.
no, no, no.
I'd have
Not
him as a field goal holder, just holding
Yeah,
the ball,
like-
hold
yeah,
the ball,
hold the ball.
hold it.
Hold
That's
the
it.
ball.
That's it, dude. That's all I got him doing.
Well, there you have it. I mean,
That's it. That's it.
that's-
So we got Sissy and Ralph Macchio on the bench, man. That's where he belongs, man. Put him on the bench, man.
Ralph Macchio.
Dude, Ralph Macchio, that's some bitch. But we're gonna get him. He's doing a book tour. What's it called? Wax On? I think it's called
On.
Wax On. We're trying to get him
Wax
out
On.
here. If he comes
Adam's
Adam's working on it.
Adam's working
He's
on it.
working on
Adam's
it.
G's working on it.
Adam?
He's working.
Ian?
Yeah, Adam's our booking agent. I don't know if you know that, Bill, but he's out there.
Hi, Adam.
We're in trouble. We're in trouble. We're in trouble.
Adam's out there in the trenches. He's
Yeah.
out there. I think tonight he's just out there beating the streets and
Yeah.
and looking
Making
for,
phone calls.
making
Yeah.
phone calls,
Just
sending
trying to get over
emails, faxing people.
Yeah.
He's bitching about something.
Oh, it's something.
He's faxing,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
No,
Well,
it's
where's Estes in this deal? If we're going to bring up that.
Eric's still out there. He's just we're trying to turn him into a listener, so we'll see what happens. He's hanging out. I think he's out there.
Mama let him off the
What's up,
leash.
Eric?
man. Bill, are you on social media at all?
I'm not.
You're not on social media. Okay, that's okay. That makes sense. You know, that makes a lot of sense. Dude, this has been a good time. Thank you for making time for us.
I've
Man, we
enjoyed it.
really
Yeah.
appreciate you, man. I
Yeah, it's
know.
very nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man, it was
yeah.
cool. Like I said, a lot of memories came up talking to you. A lot of things, a lot of cool shit came out of me that I was thinking about, you know, as a kid and stuff. So I appreciate you doing that, being here and doing that for me, and then bringing those memories back. And
absolutely.
it's
You bet.
anytime you want to come back and hang out with us and drink beer, or if you don't drink beer or not, if not, you can just hang out with us.
Come
Come
hang
hang
Oh,
out.
I'd love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I mean,
Come in.
this topic, I mean, I could sit here.
yeah.
Me too. Me too. And
forever.
you know, if we could be
Yeah.
here, I could keep going, but I gotta, you know.
Wrap it up.
Yeah, no, but we love it. But yeah, this has been something else, man. I want everybody to follow us on the 52 Odessa Permian Talk. It has been great, man. This has been awesome. It's been
Mojo.
really a Mojo. Real quick.
Mojo.
Go ahead.
Mojo.
Go ahead. Mojo. Yeah.
Yes.
You play on the same
Mojo.
page as I am.
We-
You talking
Yeah.
about something that
Hold on. All right,
woke?
yeah.
Hold on.
Does anybody
Oh,
know
sh-
what Mojo stands for?
Nope.
Now, as a band director,
No.
it on the not the field. Well, it's on the field house, but on the front of the school, it is across the front in huge letters.
Mojo.
Mojo.
Yeah.
In I'm gonna screw the date up. 65,
Yeah.
66, something.
Mhm.
Early on, one of the first years they went to the playoffs.
Yep.
Some drunk guys came back that had played the year before, and they were sitting down on the front, and we were losing. Permian was losing, and they ran out of booze. And they stood up and started
game.
yelling at the game. They stood up and started yelling, "More juice. More juice." Because they wanted some more beer or booze, whatever the hell they were drinking. And the chant started. They picked it up. Mojo.
Yeah.
And if you've ever been, it is something to hear 20,000 people start that chant and go. It's
Yeah.
loud.
Yeah, it was misconstrued.
What's the mascot out there?
Panther.
A panther. That's right. I knew that.
I heard
I knew
the
that.
story about they
Yeah.
got misconstrued with the words and
Yeah.
so it's got Mojo.
Mojo.
Yeah,
So Mojo. No one ever said Mojo. It just kind of
It
got.
just kind of happened.
Started
Just
out
kinda-
more juice,
yeah,
and it
yeah,
just
kinda
ended up
happened.
Mojo.
Just
Can
kinda
you
happened.
imagine that story and it ended up on the side of the building
Yeah.
in today's society? Somebody
Yeah.
bitch about that.
Oh yeah, somebody. Huh?
Yeah.
yeah. Same thing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
kinda like
same
Let's
thing.
Go Brandon.
Same
Yeah.
thing. It was
Yeah,
talking about
it's
the
just
NASCAR
kind of a
guy. NASCAR
different
thing, yeah.
deal. Yeah, just
Yeah,
like
same thing, man. Been good times, man. Nostalgia's been through the roof for me, and like I said, Kenny Chesney's fucking song going through the whole fucking episode. Kenny Chesney's been in there, fucking singing with his fucking cowboy hat. That son of a bitch,
Hawaiian shirt on,
Hawaiian shirt,
yeah.
But but no, dude, this has been great. Bill, thank you, Trent. I'm glad you made it, Trent. You made it through, man.
Hey,
you
better late than never.
Hey, you made it, man. We got to talk a little
straight
bit.
from work. Came straight here,
and then you get to catch up when you see. We talked about Rudy before you came in, so it's
yeah. You're going to want to see the first part to defend yourself.
You gotta.
I don't need to defend myself. I mean, you're talking about somebody that didn't deserve to be on the field, but I mean, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Hey, Keith, where can people find you on social media?
Talented Savage on Instagram.
John
MX429.
Real Trent Graves for me. This has been the 52 Podcast. We'll check you next time. Adios.
I was just in my office and I heard a ruckus.